All right. What's up, guys? Gotta say, wasn't planning on doing this initially. Mondays are kind of my iffy day. Sometimes I do admin stuff. Other times I'm doing lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff for business. So there's that. Anyway, I decided that, you know what, I was going to have some fun with it. I was actually going to work on my story for a change since I actually had some quote unquote free time, and very excited to just have some fun editing. This is going to work very similar to writing sprints. So we're going to set a timer, and hey, Lauren Dahl, welcome. I kind of went Irish right there. Welcome. We're going to be doing essentially kind of like editing sprints. And so kind of excited. So give you guys some time to get on and do that kind of stuff, get prepared. If you have questions, by all means, please throw them into the chat over on the side. I am going to be watching it. Oh, yeah. So basically, this is from sitting at a computer screen for 10 hours a day, and my hand, specifically my wrist and joints, are really, really sore. So yeah, I've got a new wrist brace coming that should hopefully kind of get some of that taken care of, give it a little additional support. So I got the ACE bandage for now. So it'll be what it'll be. But let's see. Hang on. Oh, and if you have any questions about my Cyclops glasses, these are blue light blocking glasses. And so this allows me to stare at a computer screen without my eyes going cross, getting dry, getting gritty, or basically just popping out of my head. So like I can literally stare at the computer screen all day wearing these bad boys, and it is fantastic. So my eyes last a whole lot longer. Let's see. Aphrodite, welcome. Fun and editing. First time I've heard of that. Yep, that's how I roll. I only have fun when it comes to editing. Editing, I used to dread editing, actually. I hated the thought of editing. I was like, my first draft will totally get by because I'm such an amazing author. Then I realized editing was essential. And so I try to make it as fun as writing is. I view editing in a very different way, is that the first draft story and writing it is the brain dump, and that's kind of like the raw materials. And then draft 2 and the developmental editing specifically, which is what I do, is the crafting process. That is what allows you to build the story the way that you want it to look, how you want it to look, all the nooks, crannies, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I love about this. Yay, Lauren! I'm so glad. I mean, I'm streaming is going to be kind of, I think, where I'm going to go with this in large part. I have appreciated all you guys' support, and I think it allows me to actually kind of get some of my expertise out there a little bit easier. That was a Gaelic name. All right. Nice. I like it. Yes, they are blue blockers, and seriously, they are amazing. Okay, bring me something back wonderful to eat, Lauren. I would appreciate it. We did go to the grocery store, my wife and I, yesterday, and we did get snacks. So I'm not without snacks anymore. This is a positive. I won't go anywhere. I will be here for probably a couple of hours editing. It does change. So everything is very orange, Dal. Very, very orange. They're a little darker on the top. They're technically meant to be like cool shades to wear outside. I can't say that I use them outside for that. So don't have much experience in that regard. But they have worked wonderfully. And I'll typically wear these for a couple of hours and then I'll switch them out for just my normal glasses, which is what you guys normally see me wear. These are also blue light filtering, but to a much lesser degree. So these are the ones that I'll usually wear when I'm talking with clients and stuff. So, and yeah, I like it. It's very helpful. My non-love for editing is getting better. Not sure if it's because I'm willing to become a better writer or I'm getting used to it. Time will tell, I suppose. It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, nobody enjoys editing when they get into it. Editing, when you've gotten into it and when you start applying it and when you see how it can help you craft your story, take it from just writing a good story to really honing the finer mechanics of storytelling in it, that's when it gets to be really, really fun. And once you learn how to when you learn how to elicit the specific emotions that you want from your readers, whilst emotionally tormenting them, that is the pièce de résistance. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, so you probably wouldn't like these because these are very orange, like very, very orange. Everything is orange. Reds, oranges, they do not look the same wearing these glasses. So yeah, it's fun times. Yeah, self-editing properly, it is hard. Yeah, it is hard. But hopefully, like over the course of this stream, I'm going to be working on my story because I don't really get that often when I have cleared my plate enough of client work where I can actually work on my own. So I'm rather excited. But yeah, if you guys have questions, make sure that you are posting them in the chat. And I have essentially we're going to be doing like 15-minute edit sprints. So I know that 15 minutes isn't like a really long time, but I figured much more than that. It's just going to be you guys staring at me or staring at something else. So I figure every 15 minutes at the very least, it will remind me to check chat, which I'll probably be doing anyway. And then answering any specific questions that you guys have about editing. So I'm super excited about that. Anyone else excited about editing? I mean, like, as far as editing goes, God, I hate the fact that this thing changes. I forgot to set it up to fix it so it wouldn't be doing the autofocus. It drives me nuts. All right. If you guys don't have any questions for the moment, I am going to set the timer for 15 minutes. Get this. I'm going to share this. Dal, I see your comment here. I'm going to answer it before. Why should we always use the visual descriptions before anything else at the start of a scene? I don't know that you always have to do that. And this will probably change from editor to editor in large part. So like when it comes to a scene, it depends on whether you need the visual there at the start. So typically what you want to do is you want to give enough information to the reader so that way they understand what it is that they are experiencing. And so that can be a little bit of detail. That could be a lot of detail. it really depends on what you need them to take away from that scene. Typically, and I can't, well, actually, I think I can pull it up. 1 second here, and I'll give you guys an example of kind of what I'm talking about here. I'm going to pull up. So this is, I'll just go full screen. So this is my manuscript from the City of Snow and Stars. So Dal, to answer your question, like, so here's how just the first paragraph of chapter 11, well, what was chapter 11? This is the first draft, starts. It had been 4 days, 4 long, grief-filled days since the loss of Udar. Hashtag spoilers. Not only that, but Mandar was nowhere to be found. Trini had looked. He was supposed to have met them outside the gates that night when Jaden had reached them, but he never showed. He'd abandoned them. Now they were all alone. So from this, what I want the reader to take away is that the visual that I want them to see is that the Jaden and Trinia are both like upset, grief-stricken, unsure of kind of what to do with themselves. They feel alone. They feel abandoned. So while I'm not necessarily describing the scenery, I'm describing the setting. And setting really has a lot to do with evoking that emotion from the reader. So visual descriptions, I get into when I talk about the rest of this, and I'll pull it back up here. So Doramun Mound. The mound to the locals lay just south of Kayaks, where one of the larger northern cities in Canamore, Sorak being second, which was due west of Kayaks. The mound, home to close to 1,000 people, had been built due to the gold veins and precious stones that could be found in the mountains. The poor lived closer to the gates, and they made up most of the labor force and population. Farther in, the homes went from wood huts to impressive homes constructed from stone. So here I'm giving those visual descriptors of what the town looks like for the setting that it's in. So hang on, I see something that does this. Aphrodite, yeah, I'm the same. Like, seriously, I learned so much about my own editing style from watching or from editing others. I pick up stuff and I look at it, I'm like, oh dang, I do that same thing. So set the mood, tone, environment. Yeah, exactly. You're setting the mood, you're setting the tone, you're setting the environment depending on the scene and the situation that you have your characters in. That does not mean that you have to describe to the nth degree every detail in the room with the people, with the characters. I don't do that. I'd say a lot of people don't. Some people will describe beautifully the types of clothing because it sets the clothing sets the people apart based on the cultural importance in the story. For instance, Stephen R. Lawhead, he writes Celtic fantasy, and so he describes everybody's clothing because each person's clothing gives a unique character perspective for that person. And some will have gold torques or it's like a type of necklace made out of like solid or mostly solid silver, gold, or bronze. Bronze? I think it's bronze. Their weapons, all that kind of stuff is different. So when I'm describing things, I'm giving just enough detail that someone can then imagine the rest. Because I don't want to give them every vivid detail unless I have a very specific purpose for doing so. Otherwise, I don't do that. One, because it kind of takes some of the imagination out of it for the reader because you're over explaining things. And then on the flip side of that, if you're not giving enough detail in some cases, then you're not setting up for the reader to understand what it is that you're talking about because it's too vague. So it depends on the situation, depends on what scene, what it is that you're writing, really. Yeah, you don't have to go into deep description all the time. If I want somebody to understand a place or a location, I'm going to describe it from the character's point of view. I didn't do that in the example that I'm showing here because I was going for something completely different at the time. I was trying to do third person omniscient and was failing horribly at it. Yeah, exactly, Aphrodite. Only when I feel it's key to the scene or story. That's the only time you need to really add more detail to that. There it is. I just suck at describing. I notice that when I'm narrating dreams, lucid, and astral projections, I do add more details, but when the characters are in the real world, fake. So you can always add details later. So, for example, first draft of my manuscript, like there's a lot missing. I mean, tons and tons of stuff. That was one of the key things that the developmental editor who I had looked this over. They were like, I need sense of place. Where's the sense of place in the world? What is happening? What is going on? Okay, I need to switch glasses here. Ta-da! Oh. That was one of the big critiques that I got, was that I didn't have enough sense of place. I didn't describe enough. And because I knew it was going to be a first draft, very rough, not going to really get into a lot of the details, I didn't worry about it. And honestly, I really wouldn't worry about it on the first draft anyway. I'd wait till the second draft to really kind of add in some of those. When it comes to the details, pick and choose which details are important, which ones are needed, or are they just ones that you want to add or feel like you should add? And a developmental editor, they'll be able to help kind of point those things out. They'll be like, hey, have you thought about adding some additional detail here? Hey, this some detail or some additional context here would be really helpful for the reader because it'll do X, Y, and Z. So those are things to just keep in mind too, is edit as much as you can, as best as you can, write as much as you can, as best as you can. And then depending on what your goal for publishing is, if you're going to self-publish, get a developmental editor, have them look it over. They'll be able to kind of point out some of those places where you could use some additional ones. Sometimes what you have there is good and you don't need any more. And then you're doing awesome. Let's see. Someone else said something. Oh, this isn't the first draft. This is the seventh draft. Yeah, you never knew what you needed to fix. And honestly, that's common. So don't feel bad. A lot of authors run into that. They don't know what they need to fix or what type of editing to do on the front end to begin with. And so they end up taking more time, more drafts, more revisions to get it, because let's face it, if you Google how to edit a book, you're going to get like 50 bajillion different things on there, and it's it's going to be a little overwhelming. And most of it will contradict everything. I look at it from a practicality standpoint more so than I do like an academic or what the proper way to do it is. I look at it from an instinctual, like, does this feel right? Yes or no? Yes, add it. No, don't. That's more of the lines where I go. Yeah, we relate to the real world, so it doesn't feel like it needs description. Whereas in dreams and such, you pretty much have to go there. Yeah. You know, and some details are simply going to, like, the best thing that you can do is make your world feel real for the reader. And that comes from adding some details, adding little things that the reader can relate to. So it's not necessarily big things. It's, you know, they go over and they turn on the coffee. Well, this is sci-fi. We know that coffee still exists in whatever year it is that you're writing. And that gives the reader a little bit of insight into it. And everybody, it's universal. If you can find those things that are universal and add those details in, then you can kind of fudge the other details a lot easier, like dogs, cats, things like that. Those are things that people relate to. And so if I add that into a fantasy novel, that automatically gives it a slightly more comfortable feeling for the reader. Yeah. And that could be a way that you kind of distinguish between the dreams and the real world, Dal, is that the dreams are more vivid and things are less exciting in the quote unquote real world outside of those dreams. And so that kind of sounds like a unique thing that you can actually play to, where you're not giving as much detail because the details are so quote unquote boring for the people. So okay, at least there's coffee aboard that space station. I would be worried for their safety and their sanity if they weren't if there wasn't any. So that is good. Okay, so I'm going to start the timer here for 15 minutes, and this is going to be time for editing or writing. I mean, you could do whatever, whichever feels most convenient for you and where you're at in the story. I'll be working on mine. I'll be keeping track of everything, so I'll still see the comments and all that good stuff. But let's I'll make this a little bit bigger. Make my face a little bit smaller. There we go. All right. Let's do this thing. All right. First 15 minutes is up. All right. Hey, Steven and Very Bad Books. What's up? All right. Spelling, all the spelling. Good stuff. All right. How did it go? How did everybody do? Anything good? Any good stuff? I managed to get a whole 1, 2, 3 paragraphs edited. Well, technically completely rewritten. Because changing from trying a failed attempt at third person omniscient to third person limited requires a little bit of rewrite. So that was fun. But I got 3. Hey, Dawn, welcome. Glad to have you here. Doing some fun editing with the Bard, editing sprints. Dell edited her query instead. Hey, that works. Editing's editing. That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta say, like, going back and redoing so much of my book has been interesting because for those of you who don't know, like I've sketched out my map, right? And I went from a portrait or a landscape map to portrait. So this is the really kind of sketched version of my map. That's one of the 3 or 4 continents that I've drawn up so far. And so I mean it's been fun, but when I went from this to this, I completely rearranged the geography of my world, and that's taken the largest portion of my editing for the first I'm on chapter 12 now. It's taken a lot of time just to get there because making sure I was writing about where everything was properly was a giant pain in the butt. What did you say? What did you say? Let me see. Editing takes me longer because I need to listen to the text first. Then I can pick up things I need to fix and then fix it. Yeah, that's a great way to do that. And honestly, like I know that, just based on talking with you and what you're working with Sight, that I recommend more people do that actually, to listen to their book, because that our brains, it tricks us all the freaking time. So very, very helpful to actually take the time and listen to the book, especially when you're doing a read through or you're getting into a read through, you've completed it. Yeah, that's helpful. Really is. Working on a formatting project for a client. Oh, very cool. What do you do, Aphrodite? I don't know if I've seen your channel yet, so I may not be familiar with it. Lauren's back. So we've had our first edit sprint, Lauren, just to kind of get you caught up. I should probably take the banner away since I've already done it. Ta-da! Let's see. Toddler wrangled, I think. Can one ever really wrangle a toddler? I don't know. I have 2 kids, 1 on the way. I haven't wrangled them. I hide back in the Bard cave. It's like an invisible shield. This box is my box of safety, my cone of silence, for those of you who have seen Get Smart and understand the reference. Let's see here. Wait for it to pop up. There it is. Author. Yeah, I'll definitely will. I'll definitely give that a look. Very cool. But as well as herding cats. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Or small puppies. They have no concept of anything. They're just like pew, 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 just all over the place. Yeah. Oof. Do you guys have any editing questions? Before we kind of, I want to take at least a few minutes in between to address editing, since that's why I've called you here today. Let's see, Aphrodite, and both my books are free this week for my birthday week. Oh, happy birthday week to you, everybody. She books. They're not mine. Go check out her. I can't with this. Her. Go check it out. They have books for free. There is an answer to that, Lauren, and the answer is yes, I can. Format scripts for writers. Oh, very cool. I appreciate people who are able to format, because I've tried in Word and it does horrible funky things, and I don't understand it, so I choose not to. I just choose not to. It's safer for my manuscript to just not. You know where to find me, Lauren. You know where to find me. This is what I do. All right, Steve. We'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Come back again. So any questions on editing scenes, paragraphs, lines, sentences, finding word choices, all that kind of fun stuff? This is what I do. So I'm happy to answer any questions, or we can go to another writing sprint if you guys don't want to hear me talk, and either one's totally fine. Oh, Dell's got a question. Look at Dell go. She's awesome. What is the correct format for a query letter? Should we throw the blurb first and then the metadata and then the bio? I no longer know. Too many contradictions. Oh, yeah. Oof. That's a good question, Dal. Honestly, there's so many contradictions because different publishers require different information first. I have yet to see something that is standard across the board for query letters. It varies so much from publisher to publisher. It's it's frustrating. It really is. It really, really is. I would say if you know who the publisher is that you, or agents that you specifically would like to query to, what I've heard people do, I'm trying to get into a better position here in my chair, is they will actually reach out to the agent first and be like, hey, I would like to query you. I want to know what specifications you have and what format you would like it in, so that way you'll look at it. Please. Pretty please. So I would if you have somebody in mind, Dal, I would absolutely recommend reaching out to them and be like, I'm looking to query you. I would like to know if there's a specific format that you prefer, and do that for everyone. Because I mean, every single person is going to have a different way of going. Yeah. There is no standard anymore. That's good to know. Because honestly, like, again, I see so many contradictions, and most of the people that I have personally known have reached out and tried to find what the agent is doing or accepting in what format. I just have to do it. Yeah, that is a big part of it. that is a big part of it. Editing to music, I do typically. Not at this moment. I'm not. But typically I do. I actually have on my YouTube channel, epic writing music. So it's like if I find tracks or epic music that I like to either write to or edit to, I add that to the playlist. So if you need ideas for music, you can go check that out. I like it. It depends on what I'm doing. Like some days, if I'm going to be doing like I need to like hack slash and cut stuff, I'll throw on some AC/DC. Other times it'll be chill step, dubstep, synthwave, Two Steps from Hell, Audio Machine, because all of them are amazing. So yeah. Let's see. Everybody, lots of people listening to music. Rock stars need their own soundtracks. I agree. My literally, like, if I were to pick a theme song for the editing bard, it's Back in Black by AC/DC. Like, if that song comes on, I am unashamedly rocking my socks off in my chair right here. Just like, Back in Black. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Playing gregarious songs. Don't know why, but it's happening. Spotify playlist. I haven't actually used Spotify. I used to do Pandora, but I was really tired of like commercials like every 3 songs. So I just started listening to YouTube, and I'll have that just playing in the background. Blurbs. I can do blurbs for other people. I cannot blurb my own book. I am blurbless for my book. But for other people, easy. Hey, Heather. Woohoo. Oh, fun critique meetings. Those are always fun. AC/DC forever. Are you talking about my intro, Lauren? I can't technically because it'd be copyright. So the intro music that I have for all of my videos is about as close as I can get to it without it being copyright. So otherwise I probably would. Because I mean, at some point I would like to turn on the monetization. This point, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, and I'm not particularly worried about it. Yeah. But yeah, Back in Black is literally probably like the one song that I would play over and over and over again. That like my whole theme, if you guys haven't seen my website, it's black. There's black behind me. Most of my shirts, black. Most of my dress shirts, black. I mean, it's just, it's my style, yo. It's how I roll. Dark copyright free with shallows. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I got to say that YouTube actually does have a fairly large audio library for free. I have been impressed with that. That's where I got the music, all of the music for the videos that I've done. Folk Round, I haven't really utilized that so much in the videos. I kind of moved away from that. But black and purple are your colors. Yeah, see, mine's just black. Well, I take that back. Black and red. Black and red primarily. You'll see a lot of my YouTube thumbnails will be black and red. But yeah, I need concentration music for professional editing. Yeah, I can't do words more often. I can't do it often. I have to be in a very particular mindset to be able to both enjoy AC/DC and be able to function editing. Yeah, but more often than not, I listen to Fat Rat too. There's Fat Rat is one of those ones where I can sing along and still edit at the same time. Don't know how that works, but my brain's able to differentiate between the two, which is nice. Yeah, they really do have a large catalog of music. I have a very limited selection of what I like to use, so I haven't really explored all the depths, but I mean, they really have a lot. Black and pink with gray and white are my colors for my channel. Those are nice colors. I like that. Those are all very complementary of each other. Oops. In cardiology, there's a theory that songs with a strong downbeat with a certain tempo can increase exercise output in patients. Huh. I mean, I listen to dubstep for the beat. I mean, that's why I love it. Then I discovered electro swing, and I literally got nothing done because I was just like the whole freaking time. They had this electro swing remix of Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me, and it was just amazing. And I'm just sitting here just like, I got nothing done. I tried so hard to edit that day, and I got no editing done at all. I failed miserably. And I just listened to that over and over and over again. Fast-paced songs with a strong downbeat across all genres. Yeah, it's about the beats for me. All the beats. Hey, see you later, Heather. Take care. Have fun. Have fun with the critiques. See, my brain is cracked because I prefer words. I mean, it just depends. Like I said, like I can listen to AC/DC some days. I can listen to Fat Rat other days. I could listen to Dead Mouse or Dead Mouse. Fat Cat? No, not Fat Cat. There's a cat in there somewhere. There's the Fat Rat, and then there's a cat involved somewhere else, and they sing in a lot of theirs. Electro swing is so much fun. It is too much fun to have while editing. I will say that. Way too much fun to have editing. I got nothing done. And I was just nerding out about it to my friends on Discord. I was just like, guys, this is the most amazing thing ever. And they're like, what is wrong with you? You have issues. You need help. Just stop posting songs in the chat. That's how that went. If I'm hearing instruments, only my mind attaches to the instruments, usually string, and I end up swaying. Yeah, I get that way sometimes with certain dubstep songs. Lindsey Sterling. I don't know if you guys who know who Lindsey Sterling is, but literally I cannot edit effectively listening to Lindsey Sterling because I'm just like over here, just like rocking my air violin and killing it. I share my new and improved opening paragraph here. Don't need to do anything. I just want to show you because you helped me make it. Yeah, go for it. All creatives have issues. We do have issues. We have so many issues. People do not appreciate the amount of issues that we have. My goodness. It's amazing we are able to function in life at all. Yeah, we got another Lindsey Sterling fan. That's what's up. Yeah, Lindsey Sterling. So good. So good. All of the songs. All of them. So good. Especially her new album, Artemis. My gosh. Love that. Love that album. Especially the music videos. The music videos behind those are also just amazing. Just insane. Yeah. Draft entire chapters. I think I clicked it, but I forgot to address it. Like, yes. If you're not inspired by Lindsey Sterling in some way, shape, or form, I'm seriously concerned for you. I mean, it doesn't even have to be while you're writing, but if you're not listening to it and you're not getting some sort of mental image in your head of something, could be unicorns, could be dargans. I call dragons dargans. Then, that's just how it is. Oh, hi, you're a writer? Okay, here's where you start. Yeah. Nice. Shadows. Oh, yeah. Shadows. Yes. Love shadows. I gotta say, I think it's elements. Crystallize and elements are probably like my two top favorites ever. Exactly right. Through madness and chaos, we managed to create some pretty crazy stuff, too, I might add. Crazy stuff. Okay. Let's do another edit sprint here. And gonna get the clock started, or not started, set up. Okay. Yeah, those songs, I'm telling you, they're so good. And the Artemis one from this new one, and I mean, like the whole album is amazing. But Artemis was really cool. I really liked the beats in that. All right, edit sprint, edit sprint. On your mark, get set, edit. Time's up. All right. So I most definitely did not get as much done that time around as I had previously. This is the joy of reworking broken perspectives and POVs. So, well, I mean, I technically got a fair amount done. In that a lot of it was kind of shoring up some of the dialogue, getting rid of a lot of the overuse of names that I've struggled with, and trying to figure out who's talking about what. Yeah, it is difficult to say the least, but got some additional stuff done. How about you guys? For those of you who were doing it, how did it go? Fun times. Friggin' hair in my mouth. Ugh. I was looking into their website and checking their guidelines. Nice. Very nice. You did nothing? What? What? Oh, that's all right. We'll give you a pass this time. I don't know if Lauren's still... Oh, there she is. It just took a minute for it to pop up. Well, it's still taking a minute to pop up. Oh, snap. 2.5 pages. Nice. 2.5 pages. That's a lot. That's a lot done for 15 minutes. Nicely done. Question. How to not overuse or underuse a character's name in a narrative dialogue or action tags. That is an excellent question, and honestly something that I have been working with students of mine on more recently. So I can't use... Well, I might be able to pull up... hold on to that thought, Dal, because I think I might be able to actually pull up my previous draft and give some examples there. Hey, Sean, how's it going? No idea what you're talking about, but boy, is it nice to hear. Thank you. Talking about editing. We just finished up another editing sprint, which is awesome. Lauren's editing like a beast. Great job. Oh, don't tell a dorkable author. She'll be upset. Shared on Messenger. Fabulous. Okay. I'm going to see if I can get an answer to your question here, Dal. Give me just a second to pull up the example that I have in mind. And it's probably already doing it, I think. Yep. So let's go fly a kite. Let's go back up to the top. What is it? Control F. Yeah. Holy frick, I use this a lot. Oof. Okay. Holy crap. Oh yeah, this should work. This should work. Okay, let's see. Editing and sprint, my two most... That's not too bad. I mean, Lauren busted out 2.5 pages. So she's rocking it like a boss. Oh, man. Oh, snap. Look at that. I can believe that. I do believe that. All right, Dal. Let's get into this. So as you can see, so we're looking at specifically the green highlighted words, Trinia. So that is the stop taking me down. Well, okay, fine. I'll just work from here. Let me make sure it's showing up. Yeah, it's showing up. So you can see the height. Why does it keep changing? Stop doing that. I don't like that. So for example, so basically to answer your question, what you're wanting to do is you want to create the illusion of variety in a story. So you want to make it seem like you're using different words a little bit more than repeated ones. For example, you can see that I start off 2 paragraphs, both with Trinia. Now, this is since changed. This is first draft status, but I've removed one of these because that sets up a repeated pattern. The more that you say a name in a text, the more someone is likely to stop and see it as repetitive, whereas a lot of the pronouns you can kind of get away with. You can see that I do it down here. So I have Trinia, and then I start off 2 more paragraphs with Trinia, with her name. So some of these I've switched around the words. When it comes to the beginning of a paragraph, you can switch it to, so I'm going to highlight this section right here. I'll make sure that you guys can see that. Yeah, so the highlighted section. So instead of it being Trinia came to the marketplace, I could say, coming upon the marketplace, Trinia looked through the different vendors. So I've simply just reworded it, changed it up, still have her name there. Now, because I have Trinia thought above and Trinia starting off a paragraph below, what I could actually do is she came to the marketplace and began looking around at the different vendors. More often than not, if you have a situation where there are 3 names, same character name, the same name 3 times, more than likely that first one and that last one can stay, and that third one can actually be removed. Or excuse me, the middle one can actually be removed. The name is to give context to the reader, so that way we know who is being talked about. Let's see if I can get this up to the top. Yeah. So, I mean, you could see just how often I use Trinia. So a lot of these I've gotten rid of because of being able to switch in and put in the pronouns. The pronouns work best, in my opinion, when you're essentially giving the reader context. This is when you are doing third person limited. Third person omniscient is a little bit different beast. You can get away with using the character name a little bit more because you're not getting into their head as much. So it does change a little bit. When doing, and I write third person limited, so that's why a lot of what I was having to do is being changed. If you're in a context where there are multiple people in a group, before you essentially have the right to use a pronoun, you need to set up and give the context of who it is that is speaking. So if you have 2 guys talking and then one is he, but we don't know who he is, that needs to be established. So either you use a character name and you switch it up beforehand, or you combine the sentences around that to give context. Now, for those of you who watched the stream that I did on Saturday with a Dorkable author, and I was going through and editing some of the fight scenes, you guys will have seen kind of how I did that. If you guys didn't see that live stream, it's right around like the 2.5 hour mark. So you can just kind of skip everything else to get to that point if you want. But she kept using the woman to give context. But actually, all she really needed to do in order for it to not be repeated, was simply say the woman and then make it a longer sentence to carry the context with it. All right, so everybody is lots of comments. Let me see here. I don't know the time. The time cover. My actual face will be going live Wednesday. Nice, very cool. Sean has a question. So Dal, hopefully that answered your question. At least as much as I can on a stream. But giving the context before you dive into pronouns, the first one and the last one, if there's three close proximity to each other, that middle one can usually just be turned into a pronoun. More often than not, it depends on the character. Depends on the characters that are in the scene. Okay. Any advice on inserting new scenes after the fact for flow purposes without ruining everything? Asking for a friend, definitely not me. Okay, so for said friend, I am actually in the process of doing that with my edits right now, actually, because I have to rearrange so much. I'm having to add scenes in that don't affect the overall flow of the chapter. And it can be very challenging to do. But one of the easiest ways that I have found is that if I'm in a chapter that is just giving me trouble and I just cannot for the life of me make the things work the way that I want it to work, then what I will actually do is I will sit down, I will look at what are the kind of major beats for that particular chapter. I view all of my chapters in a 3-act structure, and I will sit down and actually rewrite the entire chapter. Because what it allows me to do is the old perspective and the new perspective are not meshing. So therefore I just have to write it completely from the new perspective using the old chapter as my outline. So I have everything that I kind of want to have happen, but in the middle of the new creative process that I'm doing by actually writing out, it's going to flow a lot better. And I can kind of outline ahead of time to kind of like, okay, this are the things that I need to insert to kind of help add, and then I do it. That is if I'm having a really hard time with the chapter. More often than not, because of the way that I structure my chapters, and in that 3-act structure is I've left myself enough room to be able to add those kinds of things in without it impacting it, because I know exactly where I'm going to end up. I'm still going to end up at the same place, but maybe the conversations are going to be a little bit longer. Maybe some of the beats will look a little different, but I always know where I'm going to end up by the end of the chapter. So, and it doesn't ruin everything because I've already structured the chapter to match what I want it to match. And so it's, but for those particularly sticky chapters, I usually just will do a complete rewrite on them or recommend a complete rewrite using from a fresh perspective, using the old one as an outline. That's why I always recommend that you save a new copy of every draft that you do, so that way you always have the previous version for a reference point. Yeah, use sparingly, only enough that the reader isn't lost. That's a good one. It's one of those things where you got to have a feel for it. If in reading it out loud or having it read to you, where you're like, oh yeah, that name pops up a lot, actually too much, and so one of those needs to go. Yeah, pronouns are less intrusive to the flow, and they're kind of like said. They're practically invisible. You can go overboard with using it, but you should have a healthy mix. And some of it is going to depend on the style that you're editing or you're writing in. Third person omniscient, you're probably not going to use as many as you would with third person limited. third person omniscient, you're going to see more character names than you are he, she, kind of thing. Listening to whatever random Icelanders video. Not at all. Let's see. Yeah, as long as the reader knows who this is, then I'm fine not always using the name. Exactly. Yep. As long as you've set up the context for whoever is saying what, then you can kind of get away with it and you can fudge it a little bit more. Oh my goodness. This keeps the thing keeps refreshing. Where did it go? Oh my gosh. Let's get the first chapter off you. Do a stream, realize shooting a scene where two guys. Yeah. It's when it's easier to use the pronouns when it's just one character. When you have 5 or 6 characters in the same scene, setting up that context is more crucial. A lot more crucial. I've not abused the reply button or replay button. Let's see. Take my laptop into my bedroom so I can fold laundry while in between sprints. Why do I hit myself? I don't know. I don't know why you do that. Folding laundry is tiring, and it does all. It is both. These comments are gold. Yeah. The nice part is that when I say complete rewrite, you're not having to start all over like from scratch, because you at least have the bulk of the chapter that you can use. It's a matter of just either retyping it or copying and pasting in smaller snippets. That's what I'm doing right now. So I have a Word document with my second draft. I have a Google Docs draft with my first draft, because that's where my editor was working in. And I copy and paste small chunks at a time, and I will delete half and then I'll rewrite it because the flow isn't working, but parts of it still work. So it's just a matter of restructuring and redoing it in a way that's going to make it work. Dumpster fire first draft it is then. Man, my first draft is always a dumpster fire, so that's kind of how I roll. Style and the practicalities, I think, comes back to bite everybody. Borrowed advice from theater directing: if the scene isn't working, the entrance is wrong. Not necessarily. Again, it depends on the context. It depends on the purpose of the scene. So, like, I have several chapters that just weren't working with my main character because she was boring in the first draft, and I've had to completely rework that. It wasn't so much that the entrance was wrong, because the entrance to my book, the very first chapter, is engaging. It's fast-paced. It's moving. It was broken, and it didn't flow right. It didn't work. But that wasn't so much a fact that I wasn't doing it right. It's that I had set up the wrong context. And so I just had to recontextualize it. And for me, that worked. Now, that's not going to work for everybody. It is going to be very much dependent on your book. For some, I had someone start off in one place, start off completely different on the next draft. It's just how it goes. It depends on where. For me, the cheater way to start a book, this is why I like doing it, is to start off with action that raises a question, that draws the reader in. So in the very first chapter of my book, it starts off, Trinia is running through the city at a breakneck speed, trying to escape from what you don't know yet. That part worked. I left out a lot of details. A lot of the context was missing. I added a lot of that in there and it still worked. And what I do throughout chapter 1 is I continue to raise the question and I raise the stakes. It's like, who is she running from? The guards. Well, who do the guards work for? Her dad. Why is her dad after her? He's a psychopath. And you wonder why. And there's all these questions that come into play and you're like, this is not how today was supposed to go. That's a line from her. She's like, this is not how today was supposed to go. Well, what happened today that was different than any other day? Why did this day not work? So that to me is very much like what we talked about during our when we were streaming with Adorkable, is there's no right or wrong in how to start it. It depends on how you want to and whether it works, whether it flows. Have you given it enough context? If you've gone over it a couple of times and it's still just like not working, try starting from a different scene. And I think that's what my third draft started in a different place. So yeah, it depends. It depends on the story and what the story needs. I started in the right place, yes, but I didn't really set a scene properly. And that, I mean, I did the same thing. I didn't set the scene properly. And that was because I was pantsing it. I had no idea what I was doing with the story at the time. I just started writing. I mean, my story had muskets in it. And now there are no muskets at all. But it was just like, muskets, gunshot wound, cool, whatever. To take away from the fact that they shot way farther with way more accuracy than muskets actually do. Yeah. Starting as close to the inciting incident as possible. Yeah. That's how I tend to roll, is start really close, start with the action, start with the excitement. Don't give it away, but draw it out through the end of the chapter. So that way, by the end of the chapter, you're just going, holy crap, I have to read this book because I need to know what happens. That is how I start my books. That's how I help a lot of my clients with their books, is by starting that. Whether it's been through developmental edits or the consultations that I do, that is usually where I help them, is going, okay, here's your incident. Here's what you need to do to kind of get to that. Either you ramp up to it because it's kind of what the genre is, or you start off in the middle of the action, you raise that question, you raise the interest, you pique the interest of the reader. Because if you can get the reader curious about your book, they are more likely, in my opinion, to pick it up, read it, and buy it. Because humans are curious creatures. We want to know answers to things. So if you can raise a big enough question while giving enough detail to interest them, that is a great way to go. First chapter is my character trying to find a loophole to her impending death. I mean, I would be looking for a loophole in my impending death. So yeah, that's an inciting incident that would be exciting and draw me in right away. Question: how do you add context without taking away the mystery? I suffer from the opposite of info dumping, but I kind of like it. How can I change this? So the way that I structure the first chapter in my book, and this is what I have to go off of, is I know at what point I'm going to reveal to the reader why my character is running. And it's actually in the first chapter. They're not going to fully understand the implications of that until, I believe, chapter 3 or 4. It might be 4. And so my character is running through the streets and trying to get away from a dad who is a psychopath. He is power hungry, and she has the ability to destroy the entire world, and her father can use that to make the world in his image. That is why she's on the run, because she's like, yeah, no, I don't want none of that. Ain't nobody got time for destroying the entire world. I actually happen to like are people in the world in general. And he's crazy. So she goes on the run. And about halfway through the chapter, she reaches the forest, which there's a whole thing surrounding the forest. But you see her power come into play. So while I don't specifically address why she's running in that chapter in great detail, I hint at it throughout. The way that I like to think about it is you are essentially you are burying a treasure for the reader to find and then piling up the dirt. So you have where you want your reader to end up. Then you work backwards. You begin to layer everything, all the little details, all the little threads, everything. You weave it into the story to take the reader to where you want them to go. And it could be a false bottom if you want. That takes a little bit of practice. So I basically give my readers enough information so that way they keep digging down. I keep letting them get close enough to the treasure. And then I let them find something. Like if you guys haven't seen Curse of Oak Island, where they're like constantly digging down and they're finding like little treasures here and there and they get really close and then it's like, oh, that wasn't it. That's the way to think about giving enough detail for a mystery is you build in things that could be the truth, but aren't. You get them to the point where they get a little treasure, but it kind of raises another question. So the question that's raised at the end of chapter 4, I'm pretty sure it's chapter 4, is you get this perspective like, oh, that's how, okay. Well, that's bad. That's horrible. Like this will absolutely destroy the world. Crap. But I don't leave it there because then it raises the bigger question of what are the implications of that use? Who else could use that? Well, now we know why she's running, but why are some of the other people after her? So it's this constant balance of figuring out where the red herring is, where you can place it, and where you want the reader to go, where you want to take them, what treasures you're willing to let them see or let them discover before they get there. And then there's that moment where you have that big reveal and it's like, oh, now I understand what this means. Now the reader has the full understanding of, oh, that's what they were talking about this entire time. Because then what happens is that when you've placed little breadcrumbs along the way, little hints, the best way to hide one of those is like in the middle of a paragraph, especially a longer paragraph. People typically are going to remember the first thing and the last thing that they read in that paragraph. I'm speaking very, very broadly because there's people who just remember everything. But very broadly, if you can put one of those little things right smack dab in the middle, what ends up happening is they'll kind of overlook it. But when you reveal it, their mind immediately goes back to that. And they're like, oh, that's what that was. I didn't even see it until then, but then all of a sudden all the pieces start falling together and their minds just go, which is a fun thing to do. How do you decide what the inciting incident is when you have two protagonists? Great question. Depends on the story. Depends on whether the protagonists are in the same area or not. So you kind of have to work up to that. So you have to understand, like, hey, here's where protagonist 1 is, here's where protagonist 2 is. You build it up to the inciting incident. Then it happens. If both people are already there, start it. The inciting incident for one character can carry over into the next one slowly but surely. Yes, I agree. Time for a sprint. I hate laundry more than editing. Perfect. All right. I like it. We're going to put 15 minutes up on the clock. And then, Dal, hopefully that answered some of those questions for there. Ready. T-3, 2, 1, begin. Ding, ding, ding goes the trolley. And we're back. And yes, Sean, even though I can see everything, it does mean that I will typically slow down in the editing process, but I do that to at least keep track of things. So I think I managed to get through, well, not a whole lot. I think 1, 2, another 3 paragraphs or so, roughly. It's not too bad. You get 3 more paragraphs down. A lot of it is I'm running into a lot of the world building stuff. Stuff that I was doing from a omniscient perspective, and so now I'm having to kind of put it into the character's perspective and show it more than I was just telling. So that's what I was running into on this one. Still querying. No, I'm terrified of querying again. You know, I had a friend who she submitted 9 queries, heard back from 5, or no, from, yeah, I think she's heard back from 5. And for the other one, she's just like, just please, just tell me no. Like, rather than just leaving it out there, like, just shoot it back to me and say, no, we don't want it. Hey, 2 pages, and I had to move a paragraph earlier, so I'm really getting a lot done. Just have to procrastinate housework. Yay. That's how I roll. I mean, that works. All right, have fun, Aphrodite. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you stopping by and editing with the Bard. Book has taught me a new definition of pain. Yeah, I could definitely understand. I feel that right in the feels. Why I decided to, well, I mean, I know why I decided to, but changing the entire geographic outlay of my book has caused more headaches than I foreseen when I initially thought it was such a great idea. Man, because like I was reading over these paragraphs and I'm describing the locations of certain cities and towns and stuff, and it's completely different now, and I was having to fix it. So that was been incredibly annoying. Incredibly annoying. I prefer to hear the clear no. I don't blame you. I would much rather just no. Just tell me. Give me an answer. That's all I want. That's all I want. Because really, we stress ourselves out enough without having to add that in addition. I'm in agreement with that. I would love some of that. We all deserve chocolate. Unfortunately, all I have are potato chips. Chocolate was not on. I had, for those of you who saw my post, like the essentials were toilet paper and coffee, because without coffee, I am insufferable. I know this about myself. I'm not a nice person without coffee. The thing is I can blame my wife for this because she got me hooked on coffee. I was perfectly content never having a single cup of coffee or developing a caffeine addiction. But man, as soon as I had white chocolate peppermint mocha, that was it, because it tasted more like candy than it did coffee. And then that moved to iced white chocolate hazelnut Americanos with a little bit of almond milk. Let me tell you, magnifique. Absolutely wonderful. My books and stories have taught me that I'm a complete idiot. That is not true. Well, you may feel that way, but I'm telling you that it's not. I mean, telling you, holy smokes, that was fast. I don't think it was Muggle things if you did it that fast. I'm pretty sure you just said something and then it just magically happened. That's the only thing that there's 7 universes in my book, 7, 3 of which are purely conceptual. I don't even have a suggestion for that one. I got nothing for that. I don't even know how you would begin to go into that kind of thing. So may the odds be ever in your favor. Chocolate cereal, that could work. That would be good. Bird Baby number 3 will be in August. So the right now it's the day before my son's birthday is the estimated due date. So with my son, we went, I use the word we loosely. We went 10 days past the expected date. And then with our daughter, she arrived like 9 minutes before her due date. So somewhere in the middle of that is when baby Bard, our Bard Baby number 3 is going to hang on. Sean, you're mad, but we all know that from the get-go. Yep. Yes, hang on. White chocolate peppermint mocha is amazing. Starbucks had it as like one of their seasonal Christmas drinks. But I now I want a mint mocha. Oh, mint mocha frappe. I'm telling you though, an iced white chocolate hazelnut Americano, or you could do a white chocolate hazelnut mocha. You could do that. But I'm cheap, and it's cheaper with Americanos. So I get iced white chocolate hazelnut Americanos with a little bit of almond milk or coconut milk, depending on whether someone has almond milk. And it is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Oh my goodness. This thing skips around so much. I got into it. Here it is. Yep. 120,000 words. Yeah, I know. I don't have 120,000 words. I'm aiming specifically for around 60 to 70 for my book because that's kind of what the publisher is aiming for. I'm submitting it to the publisher that I freelance for in June. And I'm actually going to be doing an interview with the head developmental editor who kind of oversees what I do. Next Monday, actually. Next Monday from 2 to 3. I'm going to be doing an interview with her for an hour. She's going to talk a little bit about how the publisher works, what they do, how they help authors. And it's really cool, guys. I've watched my students go through this through the partner program. Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait. And there's going to be Q&A. So there'll be a time for you guys to submit questions and ask questions of a publisher. I'm excited about it. So you should be excited about it as well. Hey, baby buddies. Knuckles. It's awesome. Needs to be mint mocha. You could totally do a mint mocha, Dal. You can totally do that. I'm just saying white chocolate hazelnut Americanos are pretty bomb. It is more sugar than it is coffee at that point, but it is still fantastic. Yeah. I'm a coffee snob, Sean. I blame it again on my wife. She got me hooked on it, and I can't do black coffee. I've tried it. It basically, I drink coffee like I drink alcohol. It basically has to taste like something other than what it is. If it's going to be alcohol, or especially I don't really do hard liquor. I'm a lightweight, super lightweight. Like an 8-ounce can of Red's Hard Wicked cider. 3 of those over the course of like an hour playing Battleship. I have no strategy whatsoever. Yeah, It, nah. Let's see. So sun. Nice. Alien loves everything mint. Oh, mint's delicious. Lots of stuff for tea, which I like. Caffeination. That is absolutely fantastic. So good. I love these comments. That's true. We care not for your. No one cares. I don't even care. I'm an editor. I don't care. That's the grammar police's jobs. Yeah, don't worry about it. Like, seriously, I tell people, I'm like, if you want help with grammar, do not come to me for grammar help. I'm not going to help you with grammar. I know enough to see when it's wrong, but I am not qualified to give advice on how to fix a lot of it. I could just tell you that it's wrong and that you need to fix it. Yeah, I have typos too. Everyone has typos. I don't even care. Like, I'm gonna say this, and you guys are not gonna be able to unsee it, but this is how bad it is. And I could probably go back and re-upload a thumbnail, but just to let you in on a secret, even I have typos. The very first open paragraph live stream that I did, I literally misspelled questions, and I didn't notice it until I got in to make the new one for the upcoming open paragraph one that I'm doing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's insane. So yeah, don't feel bad. I really wanted this to pop up. I could see like the live chat, and then there's where it's at in the StreamYard. Great with grammar as long as you don't ask me to help. That's where I'm at. I can tell you when the sentences aren't right because they don't read right, but I will not under any circumstances pretend to tell you that I know what grammar is. I just don't care. It's a mechanic that I'm going to pay someone to help me with because I know I suck at it. I help with the big picture, and big picture does flow into that just a little bit. But yeah. Here's I spent so long studying grammar and rhetoric only to discover how little. Yeah. That's fantastic. Are you talking about what I had? Yes, got me on the channel. Yeah, awesome. See, I use misspelling because everyone's like, an editor can't really be that dumb, right? Then they come and watch and they're like, oh, and I distract them with this, the background, the light reflecting, and they're so dazed by it that they're just like, wow, he's bald. He obviously has to know something. His hair's falling out. I mean, that's just what happens with smart people. They just go bald. So that's kind of what I'm rolling with anyway. And for those who, if anyone else watches this video, they'll have learned my secrets. That I can imagine would be incredibly difficult. Being Duolingo, I'm assuming 2 languages. But I feel like you've said that you know more. But now I'm questioning myself. Knowing more than one language, though, I can imagine it's just grammar just doesn't exist anymore. It's just a figment of our imagination because you can't really use it, and it doesn't work the same. Rock on. Power of distraction. Exactly. Baffle them with beard. and they shall not know what hit them. That's how I roll. This is also true. Sadly, I started losing it before I was a dad, but I think it only exacerbated the problem. See, beforehand, I had a full head of hair, like all the way, and it was awesome, and it was fluffy and bouncy. I mean, my sister did manage to get a braid in it at one point, but golly, that hurt. But yeah, then I finally decided I was just like, screw it. Once I reached the level of Donald Trump comb over, I was like, this isn't going to work. So I was just, yeah, it happens. Dang, 3 fluently and 2 in progress. What languages do you know, Dal? Baffle them with beard. Absolutely. Nothing attracts the ladies like this. And I jokingly say that because like all of my clients are female. I have no male. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I do have one dude who's a client, but literally everybody else is female. So I'm only assuming that it's the beard, that this is what works. So I just got to own it. You know, you just own it. You work what you got, and you just try. You just try hard. I don't know why the baffle. Oh, there he goes. Holy cow. That just updated a lot. Okay. If you guys posted a question, I didn't see it until just now. There. Oh, okay. There we go. I don't know why Sean's didn't come through. Beards aren't a statement. They're a net. They are. They very much are. Yep. My goodness, it's taking forever to load these. And it uploaded. Okay, there we go. English, I think. I mean, to me, it looks like you're doing well. Italian. I've wanted to learn Italian. Oh my gosh. Ever since I played Assassin's Creed 2, I've wanted to learn Italian. Hungarian and Finnish are fighting for 4th place. Those would be fun. Hey, Tamara. Well, or is it Tamara? Tamara. I'm going to go with Tamara. Hopefully it's Tamara. Yeah, it is. It is like makeup for a dude. Without this, it's a baby face. It's a straight up baby face, and it's not pretty. It's not. No, I have to have a beard. I can't go back. Go beard or go home. And so, yeah. I think you've ruined the relationship between you and Sean now, Lauren. I agree. I mean, I got the peach fuzz on the side right now of my head because I've been too lazy to go mow it. That works too. Yeah, I can see that. It depends on how well they keep it trimmed. Like there is an extreme that like this is about as long as I prefer. I wouldn't mind getting as long as Sean's because Sean's beard is very manly, very like Viking-esque. I mean, if you braided that sucker, it'd look like Ragnar. It'd be awesome. Tamara. Okay. Panera Bread. I used to work at Panera Bread. Tamara. Awesome. Okay. I like knowing how to properly pronounce people's names. I have a client right now. Her name's Marika. I would not have guessed how to pronounce that. So I like to know how to pronounce people's names and do it right. So that way I'm not constantly butchering it. It's like when people look at me, my name is Steven, but it's with a PH. So everyone's like, Steven. Is it Steven? I'm like, no, it's Steven. PH makes the sound. It's because. There is proper beard care. Yeah, it is proper beard care. Nice. Airborne dwarf. I like that. That should be a live stream event just for that. Just for that. That's true. Especially if you're talking about me, it is true. I have. So, I mean, critique. There's some other words I've stumbled over. It's usually because I'm talking too fast. I don't slow it down enough and really like think through what I'm saying. My brain gets moving faster than my tongue is able to actually move, and it creates problems. So I definitely run into that a lot. Any other questions on editing? Just because that's only a fraction of the reason why we're here. The other fraction was I was bored. I missed you guys, and I wanted to do a live stream where I would actually get something done for myself and my editing and get to hang out with you awesome people for a couple of hours. So full disclosure, just saying, I just love you guys. Love you guys so much. But yeah, questions on editing. I figure do another edit sprint here in just a second if you guys didn't have any questions. But I wanted to give enough time just in case. I feel like somebody has a question. They're just wondering. And beard talk. That's true. There are priorities. There are absolutely priorities. Beard talk is definitely one of those. Anybody? Speech therapy and shows my speech now. I probably could use some. Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with that. Here's a question. Despite its phrasing, it's not a joke. When, in your opinion, is it acceptable to reach the off moment? And are you talking about like with the first draft or like the story concept? Where are you thinking? Because that does change where my answer begins. Dal. You are not the only stupid one. Trust me. I look through my own stuff and I'm just like, this is why I'm going to need, this is why I need help. Cause like, seriously, going through some of my stuff, I'm like, ugh, it hurts. It hurts my soul to read some of the stuff that I have. Especially, I don't think I have anything. Yeah, I don't have it near me. But I think I posted the link to my writing course, the fantasy writing course, down in the show notes. But I actually have a picture on the main sales page of what my original fan fiction plot looked like. And it's seriously just wall-to-wall margins. There's no paragraphs. It is a single paragraph. I mean, it makes your eyes bleed just looking at it. So don't you feel bad. Okay. Stupid thing refreshes. Talking about when there's simply nothing else you can do under your own without breaking it. Yeah. Okay. When it gets to that point, I would say that if you've done, there's a couple of ways that you can do the most due diligence that you can before it reaches the point where you really should get an editor. And the first one is going through and looking at a developmental edit on the front end and just kind of looking for the big plot holes. Read through it. First, you need to give yourself a break. Take at least 6 weeks minimum of 6 weeks after you've finished your first draft. If you're not working with anybody, coach, mentor, whatever, minimum of 6 weeks. So that way your brain has time to forget about it. You come back, fresh pair of eyes, and then you read over it. The second thing I would do is I would use Grammarly, the free version of Grammarly, to get most of the minor punctuation errors, some of the repetitions, stuff like that. It does a good job of clearing most of that out for a first draft. So it does provide you with a slightly cleaner first draft. If you have Pro Writing Aid, then I would recommend running it through Pro Writing Aid. And I did a whole video on this to try and help people self-edit. So it helped. The video is how to set up Pro Writing Aid for authors. And that video walks you through how to use the premium version of Pro Writing Aid to maximize cleaning it up as best as you can. Once you've reached that point, depending on what your goals are, if you're going to self-publish, at that point, you want to look at a developmental editor, copy and line editor. Usually you can find somebody who will bundle that, and then get a proofreader, and then betas in there as well. If you're going a traditional route, at that point, you can say, well, I've done the best that I can. I've spruced it up as much as I can. Now I'm going to start submitting it to publishers and hopefully get something back, hopefully get it accepted. But if you run into something and you're looking at it, you're like, I don't know how to fix this. At that point, just stop what you're doing and either move on and write a note to yourself about it, or start looking for an editor. Because you can just frustrate yourself to no end. And then what ends up happening is you actually come to loathe the story, because there are certain things that you can't see because you're too close to the story. And a second pair of eyes can really help with that. Whether that is someone who does consultations and that you're asking them, hey, can you read over this specific thing and give me some ideas? I've hit a roadblock. That's what my consultations are for people who are I'm stuck here. The rest of it's fine, but I can't make it past this point. Then I will help them work past that point. If they're like, I can't get the whole thing just has issues, you're just looking at a full developmental edit at that point. So that would be kind of where I would recommend you start. Do your due diligence, use the tools that are available to you, Pro Writing Aid, Grammarly, and not so much Word. I mean, Word's it's super generic. Do those things first, and then if you're still at the point, or if you get to the point beforehand, then just get an editor. Someone else said something here. Since I'm in final edits, I'm having to determine which edits to listen to and which to ignore. Do you have a good way to know how to differentiate? In large part, it's going to depend on who the editor is, what their intention is, and what they're suggesting. If they're suggesting changing your author voice or style, I would probably not take those edits. You do not want to lose your voice or style and have it start sounding like someone else. If it is very similar to, again, if you guys watch me edit the Adorkable author's fight scenes or portions of the fight scenes, what you watched me do was say, hey, this is what I see that you're trying to say here. If you rephrased it in this way, this is actually going to help. I'm helping enhance the story by just rephrasing some of the sentences, restructuring some things around, sometimes just rewriting the entire paragraph or several paragraphs. Those ones I would probably listen to a little bit more. If it's a balance of like, you should rewrite this, but it doesn't fit your style or author voice, at that point, you can take a portion of it and then mold it to fit you. And or bringing a burning match closer to it, asking for a friend. if you're at the point where you just want to burn the whole thing, I would suggest setting it aside for a few weeks and then coming back to it. If you still can't get past that point that you're stuck in, get an editor. Have someone look at it, whether it's a coach, editor, critique partner, friend that you pay to tell you what to do with it, something like that. Not a real-time breakdown. Nope. I wouldn't believe it. Let's see. And seriously, like editing sprints is a much better way to go than just sitting and doing it all day. I told this to a client of mine today. I was like, do an instance of 3 hours, if and when possible. Take an hour break, and then do something else unrelated, and then come back and do it for another 3 hours. That definitely helps. Let's see. Yeah, pro writing really is amazing. I actually switched over to pro writing aid from the paid version of Grammarly. I still use Grammarly for all my first drafts. Pro writing aid, I'm definitely going to be utilizing a lot more in the second draft. Yeah, it's 45 minutes, I think, in total, Aphrodite. I took a lot of time to go through the reports, kind of show people how they can look at it, why they're beneficial, and how you can really maximize it. Because I feel like because there's so many reports, I feel like a lot of authors don't know how to maximize it. Yeah, friends, first, fifth draft. There's only the book now. I mean, fifth draft. If you're at that point, while it's not uncommon, it could be that you're just too close to it and you have writing blindness, so you're not able to see some of those things in the bigger aspect, in the bigger picture, and you get in smaller chunks, and that can kind of carry over from draft to draft. I had another client at the beginning of last year who was struggling with that. There were huge plot holes that she had missed, and the book was like 190,000 words long, and it caused some big issues, but she didn't see it until me and another editor actually went through it with her and walked her through that process. So sometimes at that point, if you're at that and you just can't get there, I would just find an editor to work with you on that, or have a consultation. I mean, seriously, like I know so many editors I can get you in contact with. Longer. Oh my goodness, this thing updates and then I lose track of where everyone is at. There it is. I feel like we all run into that, doll. Believe me, I run into that. Trying to get caught up on the comments here. I have quite a few. I do have a few. I have some that I have one on multiple POVs and how to write multiple POVs, because I have like 6 POVs in this book that I'm writing. And so I know multi POV is difficult for a lot of people to pull off. I was 2 hours into editing it and saved it, and it didn't save properly. And I've not finished my grieving process to be able to go back and to finish it. I've tried rewriting paragraphs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It is sometimes it's just completely getting rid of the paragraph is what has to happen. Good. I'm glad that it was helpful. That's the whole reason why I'm doing more streams. It's updating so fast. I see what you did there, Dal. You sneaky girl, you. Just listening to this. I mean, he's just listening to the sweet sound of my voice at this point. Let's face it. See, I didn't even see that comment before, but I knew deep down, I could feel it. I don't have it up yet, Dal. I do not have that POV up yet. I have to go back and edit it because it did not save. But it is on my to edit list. Now that I've cleared my plate of some of the bigger things, I'm going to be able to do that. So yeah, I will be getting the multi POV video up here in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully sooner if possible. Yeah, betas. Again, it's and I think that was something that AS and I were talking about. And I know that I've talked with AS, Lauren, and we are going to plan sometime to talk about beta readers. Because I have very strong opinions on it for a very specific level of newbie. It for veterans, it is very different because they understand how to take the feedback and use it. But for newbie authors, I have very strong opinions on that. I promise, Dal, I will get it edited and it shall go up. Who's going to try it? Well, I can't because I'm not like editing. I'm redditing. I'm writing and editing at the same time, but not on Reddit. So I would say redditing. That's going to be my new term now. Seriously, people who leave line edit, that's where I differ from a lot of, and I have strong opinions on that when it comes to editing too, especially for developmental editors, specifically with other developmental editors, is too often they focus on the big picture, but they don't focus on how it actually breaks down line by line, paragraph by paragraph. And I do that because it's so important. People miss out on that. If you're just writing the big stuff, that's great. But if you don't give them line by line examples of where they can improve, they're not going to improve. That would be, I can do a whole stream on just that because, oof, yeah. Okay, we are going to do another writing sprint. It's going to happen. It'll probably be the last writing sprint of the stream because we are coming up on my dinner time and I am getting hungry. So, and since whoever went to get a snack earlier didn't bring me a snack, then that is just what's going to have to happen. So, checking just to make sure that there's nothing else I'm missing here. I don't think so. Okay. Still got it up. Sweet. Bam. Oh man. I feel like I'm running a dating app for authors. All right. Who's ready for sprint? I know Lauren is. Anybody else ready? I'm just going to assume you're ready because I'm starting it. On your mark. Get set. Edit. And another 15 minutes has come to a close. So I managed to get, let's see, where was it? I already did that part. 1, 2, 3. I got another 3 paragraphs done. Which, I mean, isn't bad considering the amount of editing that I have to do on each and every paragraph because I have to show it in a completely different way. That aside, it's actually coming along really good. So, would you all like, can I share one of the paragraphs with you guys? Just like spreading it out. Would you guys be interested in that? You guys care? Not care? I'll cry if you don't, but I mean, I'll make it. Dang, 3 pages. Nice job, Lauren. Good job. And finish the query letter. Excellent work, Dal. And Aphrodite got nowhere. Oh, why, Aphrodite? Are you spending too much time listening to Lindsay Sterling, or listening to or watching my videos, or just doing something else completely random? Okay, I'm sensing the share it. Share it. Yes, please. I'm glad I'm not the only one who does the yes. Yes. I do. My friends also do that exact same thing. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up here. Let me. Trying to find it. Okay, let me know what you guys think here. So this is completely rewritten from how it was. Let me just say that it is better than what it was. I was busy failing at social distancing with my fiance and talking about fun Bill stuff. I mean, some things are just okay. All right, so here is the paragraph. This is from chapter 12. Trinia found the marketplace in what she guessed to be the town square. She picked her way through the mobs of people and looked through the different vendors selling their wares. Picks, shovels, pans, candles, oil. Those merchants relied on newcomers seeking to make their fortunes, no doubt. Across from them, there were people selling tools, farm equipment, feed, seeds, and animals. Farther down were blacksmiths forging weapons and haggling prices with people unwilling to pay full price. It reminded her of market day in the city. So that's one of the paragraphs that I went through and rewrote. Saying it out loud, feeding seeds, I got to switch around, but I'm not going to worry about that now. But yeah, what do you guys think? Good, bad, ugly, fugly? Thoughts? Obviously, you guys have absolutely no context for when this is taking place. Just safe to assume that stuff has happened in the meantime from between chapter 1 and 12. More or less. If you guys don't start talking, I'm going to start dancing, and it's going to get bad. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like to have that kind of rhythm to it, especially with the longer paragraphs that I do. I typically do shorter paragraphs as a rule, just my own. So this was stretching that boundary out than I usually do. So thank you. Hey, Dana. This is one of those. It's one of those ones where I feel like it goes either way. You just missed. I just shared one of the paragraphs from my book. What was this? I'm excited to say that at least one new sign up happened this morning. So excited for you. Oh, was that for the writing course? Is that what that was? Is that what you're talking about? Hey, Tamara signed up too. Thanks, Tamara. Noble signed up. I got a couple today. Wow, look at you guys go. You guys rock. I appreciate the support on that. It's definitely a passion project of mine that someday I shall make money at. But it is not this day, because freaking pandemics and stuff throw kinks in everything and screws everything up. All of the things up. So you can show another paragraph. Okay. All right. Between I'll give you guys a choice. Between chapters 1 through 12, pick a chapter and I'll pick a random paragraph from it. Aphrodite, I have a writing course for fantasy writing. It's down. The link should be down in the show notes. And it should be the correct one this time because I double checked. I followed the link myself and did it. Yes, Dal, that is the free one. That one's for fantasy. So if you're not writing fantasy, some of the things that I'm going to be doing, it's going to be utilizing the worksheets that I created, the Getting Your Story Started worksheets. So there is going to be some cross-pollination with the sci-fi, the romance, a lot of the genre-specific ones. You'll see that. But even some of the stuff in the fantasy one, you'd be able to take and utilize in the sci-fi world too. Shameless self-promo. See, you guys get me to self-promo more than I self-promo myself. I'm not going to complain. If they do, if they allow you to post it, like I won't complain. I know that some Facebook groups are incredibly picky about that. So yes, if you want to, by all means, I would love it to get it out there, all that kind of stuff. There's a Facebook community, well, a community of one right now. It's just me. But the Bard Storytelling Academy is for those who go through the academy, and I plan on doing live streams and stuff like that for the people who have gone through that specifically. Oh, snap. Hold on. You said something else. I was talking about at the beginning of my live stream. Oh, man, at the very beginning, too. Okay, so hang on. I got chapter 7, 3. Yeah, I don't have, this was very impromptu. So I had no plans. I decided to do this on a whim. I was like, you know what? I am sucking at adulting today and I need to do something that's at least somewhat useful. And so I decided to come hang out with you guys and do some edit sprints and stuff. So, so this was fun. Perfect. Percolating stories are awesome. And again, it has worksheets. I give you worksheets. So, even if you don't do the fantasy course, you still get the worksheets that'll help you. Yeah, the promo code right now, all caps, and it's right as in like WRITE. The link should take it and should make it free. Should being the operative word there. I'm going to post code. Good Lord. Coupon code is in the chat. If for whatever reason it doesn't, it tells you that you're going to charge you $49 because it shouldn't. But yeah, I have pros and cons with Teachable, for sure. Oh, it's her group. Well, in that case, you can do whatever you want with it. So that's super handy. I'm here for the learning, not the worksheets. But combine them together, and it's a weapon of mass writing destruction. It's fabulous. Okay, y'all said chapter 7. Now I got to find my way back to chapter 7 real quick. And after this, I got to leave and go eat because I am freaking hungry. Okay, what one is chapter 7? Where? Okay, there. Yeah. Oh man, you guys picked a good one. Ooh. Okay. Man, you guys picked a really good chapter, chapter 7. Let's see. Dal, you have an excellent point. I did not see the worksheet or what you had commented before because of the stupid lag. But it is, I believe, in a Word format. So technically you could read it or have it read it to you. So there is that. I love worksheets and being able to work, being able to come directly to the source. Yeah. And that's one of the things I've talked to several people about, is that they can actually ask me questions about it. That was benefit of actually doing the videos, was that I could actually go through it and explain some of the concepts. Okay. Are you all ready for this? Are you ready for chapter 7? I'll read you a little bit more than a paragraph because, oh my gosh, this is my main MC guy. This is my bro. This is bro. I can hear the bardlets playing in the background. Yeah, probably. I would not be surprised. Yeah, and printing it out. Honestly, like, I think I say that in there, in the print the worksheets out because it's different. It's made the way that I wrote it is with your brain in mind, and the kinesthetic aspect of it is actually going to be a lot more beneficial if you can do that. Okay, I'm not going to read all of chapter 7. It would take a little bit of time, but I will read the first opening paragraphs. Let's see. Wait a second. Oh yeah. Okay. I think you I hope you guys like this. This is my bro. This is yeah. Yeah, in your case, Dal, I think I did it as a Word document. And if not, then I will send you a Word document copy of that, and then you can have it dictate the worksheets to you. I very much appreciate that, Dana. Is it Dana? Is it Dana, or I'm going with Dana. I appreciate it. I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate it. Okay, everybody's asking me to read it. Okay, here we go. Narrator voice. Udar's sure feet guided him down the well-worn paths as they had done thousands of times before. Every root, trunk, and hollow was known to him after all these centuries, and yet it still felt foreign. He didn't belong here after all. Not really. He was a man outside of his time, and it weighed on him now more than ever. He was a myth to some and a boogeyman to others. If not for Mandar, he would have been utterly alone, and that terrified him. Megweed, he thought. Focus! Casting a wary eye towards the leafy canopy, experience told him that the sun would be setting in a few hours now that winter was upon them. He needed to be quick if he was going to lead that pig-headed boy and that Guid girl to the forest edge and send them on their way. There was a part of him that wished he'd done that in the first place before they'd even woken up. Would have saved him a trip. A drop in the path came up, and Udar jumped, grabbing hold of a low-hanging limb, and landed deftly on his feet in one smooth action. Ha! I would like to see them do that. Try as he might, Udar could not get past the nagging feeling in his gut, something he'd learned to listen to and had saved his life more than once. It had started when they were eating, a single question lost in the moment. How did the girl make it through the forest? The forest did not suffer trespassers, and it was a good 2 to 3 days of walking to reach the old road. How did she survive? Her lack of any obvious skill sets, not to mention she was young, even by Guid's estimates. How had she made it to Solorim? Up ahead, Udar could see the trees thinning, and he slowed his pace, pushing aside the feeling that something was wrong, or something was wrong to listen. Putting aside that something was wrong to listen to his surroundings. There's nothing but the cold breath of the north blowing through the trees. Everything was deathly silent. Ta-da! That's the first page. You guys got a whole page of chapter 7. Look at that. Yeah, that's chapter 7. That's Brodar. That's Udar. He's my guy. He's the based on the first original character that I ever created. And this was actually a new scene that I wrote when I went back through the second draft, because it was very, very different. So, what do you guys think? Passable? Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Reading out loud, I enjoy it a lot. I've gotten more used to reading out loud. Thank you. I've actually done a couple of voiceovers for some friends of mine, AS being one of them, and then check out. I did an author interview with Verity A. Buchanan. That's in my list of videos. If you go to her Facebook page or her YouTube page, I think she has her book trailer, and I did a voiceover for the trailer for that as well. Yeah, the made up name. Well, actually, Udar isn't a made up name. Guid is not a made up name. Guid is very loosely Irish, very, very loosely Irish, as is Udar. Both have meanings. I get instantly nervous. I feel that. I used to be the same way. I mean, I've read my entire. How can you hear them? That's impressive. You must have mom ears, because that is impressive. Normally, like my mic blocks most of that. Give me PTSD. The story did. Oh man. Intrigued. Awesome. I'm glad. That's what I go for. That's what I love. I love doing that. That doesn't even he didn't even get to talk to the Banshee yet. There's a Banshee in this. A Bavon, which is actually Scottish. It's the Scottish Banshee. Look those up, because they are bad mamma jammas. The book, not PTSD. Okay, just checking. I didn't know for sure. I need to go eat actual food. Yes, you should. I'm about to head that as well. Can you spell her name? Whose? Which name, Dal? The Guid? Her? Udar? I need to know. I don't know if she's put it up yet. I don't, to my knowledge, she has not put it up yet. But yeah, I've done some voiceovers, and that was a lot of fun. Yes. And yeah, this one's a scary Banshee too. Like, she's not like the shrieking wailing one. Like, she's crazy scary. Yeah, very, very scary. Oh, Verity, it's Verity. Then Buchanan is Buchanna, and Buchanan, something like that. Yeah. Is everything on your website Celtic? It's supposed to be, kind of. Yeah. I based it. I love. Yeah, it was as close to the Celtic knot as I could get. It fit with the whole bard theme. Bards were the keepers of lore and storytelling for like medieval times. In some cases, in some cultures, I'm heavily leaning on Stephen R. Lawhead's The Song of Albion trilogy, where there's bards and they're the keepers of lore and stuff. So I loved that aspect of it. So yeah, I just kind of went with that. Oh yeah, spell the name with author's channel. Yeah. Give me a quick second here and I will get you. I'll see if I can drop a link. I think I've saved it. I did not spell that right. That works. I'll just go to my own. I'm gonna cheat. Let's see. Yes, by D&D standards. Yeah. Maybe she doesn't have a YouTube. I thought she did. Oh, wait a minute. I think I might have found it, guys. I think I might have found it. Yes, I did. I found it. Give me a second here. So, granted, this book trailer, I kid you not, like we've known each other from Wattpad. So me and several other people joined forces. Woohoo! Link is in chat for the author. Good night, Aphrodite. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Link is over in the chat that takes you to it. It's homemade. Like I did the voiceover, someone else did the voiceover, and we did home footage, like the scenes of like the mountains and stuff. That's actually footage that I've taken from my hometown, and we came together and collaborated it together. They literally composed music for the trailer. It was so much fun. I had an absolute blast. So yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun. So, you want to say but can't say? Why for? And what is it about? What is it, Lauren? Don't leave us hanging on the cliffhanger. You can always message me too. If it's not something you could say on here, you can always shoot me a message on Facebook or Twitter. You have you sent me your opening paragraph, which I have for that. I don't think I actually replied, but I did get it, and it is first up on the. It'll be the 27th is when I'm doing the next opening paragraph. So, all right. Well, that is it for the stream. If you guys have any comments or whatever, you know where to find me. You can either comment down below with any additional questions that you have about editing. This goes for anybody else in general. And then I will probably be I have another stream coming up not this Saturday. This Saturday is not the 13th. The 18th. I have another one coming up on the 18th. Forms for all the stuff that I'm signing up that you can sign up for are down below. Go sign up if you haven't yet. It's gonna be fun. Editor panel with friends. Opening paragraphs with me. Yeah, that'll be on the 27th. Coming up on the 27th, and then 2 interviews. One's going to be with the head editor. The second one is going to be the following week on the 20th. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Dal, for the stream. Tamara, thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. The second interview is actually going to be on the 20th, and that is going to be with Joe Walters from Independent Book Review. And we're going to be talking about how to promote your book as an indie author. So super excited for that. Thank you guys again so much for joining. We'll look at doing another Editing with the Bard again soon. And I will see you all later. Take care, guys.